here. Welcome back to Simply Avalon, and I know it's been such a long time since you've truly seen me face to face and not a vlog form. Sorry about that, although I'm pretty sure you guys really enjoyed those videos anyway. But it's finally time for me to go ahead and start my back to school series. Now, I'm gonna be totally honest, I was planning out like my August, September videos, and it's so crazy how many videos, one, that I need to film, and also just like how fast summer has gone by, guys. But as you can tell from the title down below, I'm about to tell you guys 10 things that I kind of wish I would have known going into sophomore year, and then also just kind of like 10 tips for sophomores in high school. So also I kind of wanted to talk about my perspective. I am one of the youngest students in my grade. No, so I did not skip a grade, but I am one of the youngest students in my grade. So some of the ages may be slightly off because I am talking from my experience and not necessarily from the normal average person's experience. Anyway, without further ado, I know you guys are ready to get started with the video, so let's go ahead and get started. The first thing that I wish I would have known is that you should not pull all-nighters. As a child, and really just in middle school, and also as a freshman in high school, just looking at the freshmen in college, it's almost like when you get into high school, you're expected to be the master of pulling an all-nighter. Let me be totally honest, if you pull an all-nighter, you're just gonna ruin your school year for yourself. I'm not saying that if you do it every once in a while, then it's just gonna be the worst thing in the world. That's not what I'm saying, so don't get it twisted. I am gonna say though that pulling a lot of all-nighters, especially like, I know some people who actually pulled like multiple all-nighters, they had 3 days where they just did not get any sleep. It's just gonna ruin your sleep pattern, and it's gonna make it so that almost in a way you become like an insomniac. It's gonna make it very hard for you to actually get sleep, and your body needs sleep to function properly. Also, your friends prefer when you actually have had a full night's sleep because you tend to be more grumpy when you aren't sleeping. Get your work done so that you don't have to pull an all-nighter. And if your teacher gives you too much work, then sometimes you're just gonna have to prioritize. Didn't hear that from me though. Anyway, number 2 is that procrastination is a trap, okay? You don't understand. As a freshman, I never really dealt with that. I was the type of person where our teacher would give us a lab on Monday and it would be due for Friday of the next week. I would have that lab already written out, at least in its rough form, by Wednesday, okay? Like, I was on top of it. 10th grade year, I was like, you know, 9th grade was hard, it was a little bit tiring. Let's see if I can get away with procrastinating here and there. Now, don't get me wrong. My first semester, I did not act like this at all. This was like the last 2 months of second semester, so April, May. That's when I was like, you know, actually, do I really have to get this stuff done super early? Don't fall for that trap. That is like, once you start procrastinating, you can't get out of procrastinating. And I never realized that when my friends were telling me that they're like procrastinating on this and that. Once you start to procrastinate, you can't get out of it. And even if you try, it's just like you slip further and further behind until you just become like an anxious wreck. It's just so bad, so just don't do it. Do yourself a favor, get yourself a planner, and just start. Don't necessarily do it extra early like I did, but at least get your stuff done so that you don't get stressed out later on, because sophomore year can get slightly stressful. Number 3, spend time with your friends. Freshman year, especially if you went to a new school like I did, it's almost like it's that period where your friend group is going to start to morph. It hasn't solidified yet. You're gonna start making more bonds with these new people that you met your freshman year, and if you're coming in sophomore year, do not worry because you will be able to find yourself a friend group. At the same time though, it's so important that you go ahead and spend time with your friends this year, because as the stress starts to get upwards, you're going to want to hang out with your friends more so that the stress level can go down. So number 4 is to relax. Sophomore year tends to be, especially if you go to a more competitive school, it tends to be the time where the competitive nature starts to build up. We're not juniors yet where it's going to be like everybody's after valedictorian. It's not gonna be like that just yet. But people are gonna start to peel away from the majority. You're gonna start to see some people are gonna decide whether they're gonna take the honors classes or whether they're gonna take the just grade level classes. You're gonna see whether people decide to take 2 science classes, that type of thing. You're starting to get more flexibility with sophomore year, because everybody knows freshman year, especially if you go to a smaller school, everybody tends to take the exact same classes their freshman year. It's sophomore, junior, and senior year where you can really just like branch away from the crowd and actually become your own person, because you no longer have to get those prerequisites out of the way. Which is why you have to relax. If you are only thinking about your grades, you will burn yourself out. This almost happened to me, so I really just say, please, please, please learn how to relax. I am planning on making a video on this in the very near future on like meditating and relaxing, and I'm just telling you guys, it's just so important to not burn yourself out sophomore year. You still got 2 years left after sophomore year, and chances are, if you're watching this video, you haven't even started sophomore year yet, so you have 3 more years left before you are out of this place called high school. 1 grade is not going to be the end of your high school career. I know for me, that was kind of like my idea, especially with the schools that I'm really interested in, which are really top tier schools. It's almost like you put this pressure on yourself where you think that if I fail even a tiny bit, then the school that I want to go to is just totally out of reach now. That's not the case, guys. You are allowed to make a few slip-ups. It's not the question of whether you can make slip-ups, it's what you do after you make the slip-up that matters. If you just stay down after making that mistake, then of course you're not gonna make it to the school that you want to. But if you are willing to actually do the extra work to get yourself back up to where that position that you were before you made the slip up, that shows that you are a good applicant for that school that you want to go to. So let me get off my soapbox and go to number 5, which is to challenge yourself. Like I said before, this is when people are going to start to branch away from the crowd. If you have the chance, take the honors classes. Set yourself up to take APs in your junior and senior year. Even if you're not sure if you're going to take those classes, you want to keep that an option. The worst thing that you can do your sophomore year is take grade level classes and then decide that you want to take AP your junior year, but you're not allowed to because you didn't take the honors level class. And I know that at my school also, the honors level and the grade level classes tend to be nearly identical, other than you're gonna have a few extra essays in the honors classes. So I just think it's super important from a freshman and sophomore standpoint, regardless of what school you are interested in going to, just take the honors leveled class so that you can set yourself up to take APs. Challenge yourself, because it will definitely help you out later on when you are doing applications. So number 6 is to try new things. So this is a year that you should really go out of your way to join clubs and also to figure out what you like. Sophomore year is almost like the trial period again. Freshman year and sophomore year are the perfect times to go ahead and try out all the clubs that you are interested in and really weed out the ones that you don't want to be in anymore. It's important to applications to be involved in school stuff, obviously, but being involved in everything is not going to help you out. I'm sorry, it's just not. So you have to start weeding them out. I know, for instance, with me, I decided that I'm no longer going to be doing Model UN most likely this year. I liked it, but I wanted to spend my time elsewhere, and I also enjoy doing like Key Club, and I'm planning on joining debate this year. One of my favorite things, obviously, is Scholars Bowl. I know I've talked about that a few times on this channel. It's just one of my favorite things to do. So definitely just check out the clubs that your school offers, and if they don't have any that you like, create your own. Manage your time wisely. I know that some things that a lot of kids, including me, have done is they tend to stretch themselves too thin. And what I mean by this is that they join too many clubs. Yes, I just told you a moment ago that you should join clubs and search to find the thing that you really like, but that doesn't mean that you should just spend all of your time at school. You need time to relax, like I said before, and you don't want to be that type of person who is stressed out all the time, 24/7, because they are involved in
everything there is to do at school, everything there is out of school, and then they have no time hyping themselves.
You don't want to be that type of person in high school, because high school can still be a pretty fun place if you make it out that way. By the way, I'm using my notebook like I always do, if you're wondering why I'm looking down. Number 7. Study, 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 study. Notes, notes, notes. Sophomore year is so important, especially if you are on the same track as I was. It's so important to make sure that you take really good notes and that you are studying for your classes. Now, hear me out for this. The reason I say this is because if you take Algebra 2 with trig, everything from this point onwards, really everything from Algebra 1 that point onwards, everything you use in that class will be built upon. What I mean by that is that everything that you will do, at least in math science area, from this point onwards to college, will be built upon. If you do not have a good foundation from the very get-go, then you are going to definitely struggle once you get to the harder classes. So also, I wrote down here something that I definitely wanted to read. Especially if you're planning to take APs in your junior and senior year, it's so important that you have your notes from the previous years. Do not throw them away, because it tends to be that when you get to the higher level classes, they don't teach you the basics anymore. They expect you to know the basics. So if you already have the notes from previous years that actually taught you the basics and you need a refresher, you will have those notes. It's just so important, guys. So number 8, go ahead and get your permit/restricted license. Now for me, I know that I was turning 15 my sophomore year, whereas most people are turning 16. So this is also kind of like a freshman advice video also. If you are a freshman turning 15, go ahead and get your permit. I don't care whether you think you're not going to get a car. It's just so important that you go ahead and get it now, so that on the odd full moon that your parents decide that you can have the car to yourself for that one day, you are able to, because you have your license. Anyway, I actually have a video from last year. I think I was wearing the same shirt. That's kind of crazy, about how to get your driver's permit the first time, and then I will have a video on my driver's test once I have completed it, and it will be up soon. And number 10 is to go ahead and start your college search. It is never too early to search for scholarships. It is never too early to search for what you would like in college. And it is also never too early to take the ACT, SAT. It's actually to your advantage to go ahead and take it your sophomore, freshman year, so that you can get used to the test and you can go ahead and start to prepare in the areas that you need it. I know that with me, the summer before my sophomore year, I went ahead and checked out the Ivy League schools that I was really interested in, like Yale, Harvard, Princeton, and I also checked out Duke, UNC. This past summer, I checked out SMU, University of Texas at Austin. I also got to see a bit of Baylor. It was just really important that you go ahead and expose yourself to these schools, so that you will make a more informed decision your senior year when you're deciding which colleges you actually want to apply to. Anyway, those are my top 10 tips for sophomores in high school. I really hope you enjoy this school year. It's really fun. Make sure you go to homecoming. Make sure if you are invited to prom, make sure you go to that also. It's really fun. This year is basically your last fluffy year of high school before everything just starts to get dropped onto your shoulders. You're gonna start to see the light at the end of the tunnel during the school year, but don't let it fool you into procrastinating or into doing stuff that you're not supposed to. Stay on track so that you can get into the college that you want to. So don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. If you have any extra tips that you would like to add to the conversation, definitely comment that below. I'd love to hear it. I'm so sorry that this video was so long. I know I talk a lot, sort of ramble, but I definitely thought that these things were super important and would have benefited me when I was going into sophomore year of high school. And that's it for the video. Thanks so much for watching. Bye.
There's something about this girl, man.